My name is Jeffrey Rima. Today we're going to be talking about corporate aviation and kind of the bottom line. We're going to be talking specifically about Purdue Farms, how they use corporate aviation and how it affects their bottom line in a positive way, some of the uses of their aircraft, the different types of aircraft that they fly, and just kind of an overall overview of why Purdue Farms decided that they were going to partake in corporate aviation and reap some of the benefits involved with corporate aviation. So first we'll talk about the types of aircraft that they use. Purdue Farms uses two different types of aircraft. They use the King Air B200, a Gulfstream G150, and they're based out of Salisbury, Maryland, which is pretty close to where I fly out of. I've been there actually quite a few times. It's a nice little airport. These are some pictures taken from the nbaa.org website. It shows the Beechcraft King Air in the top right corner and the Gulfstream that they use in the bottom left corner. These are their actual aircraft from the NBAA website, and it's actually pretty neat to see them being used right here. So their use of corporate aviation, the website claims that they've flown over 1,000 employees on their airplanes, which is pretty significant. I'd be quite frank with you, I didn't know Purdue Farms had 1,000 employees, but I also didn't know it was a $6 billion business either. And part of some of the people that they fly on those airplanes is sales, marketing, their operations department, IT, their Purdue agribusiness, which is their agricultural stuff, and their executives, of course. When they started to expand westward, I think they now have plants out in California. They needed a way to get their executives from their home base and near Maryland out to these different locations on the West Coast. And the way they did that was by buying their second jet and buying their second aircraft, which so happened to be a jet. They put over 400 hours on that jet in 1 year, which means they're getting a lot of significant use out of that jet. And for their shorter missions, they still have the King Air B200, which helps get them up and down the East Coast primarily. They do a state of business tour, which I think is actually pretty neat. Of course, this is not a business major, but I do think that it is pretty interesting that they have their top executives go to all 22 of their major facilities across the U.S. And they claim that they used to do this by commercial air, by vehicle, and by train and bus. And they said this took over a month to complete. Now they're saying they get that done under half the time by using their corporate jet. So they're able to get in and out of some more remote locations. From the research that I did, the agricultural industry is one of those where a lot of their industry and a lot of their plants are not in major metropolitan areas that is serviced by most of the major airlines. Their plants are mostly in these rural areas that have smaller airports that only these corporate jets are able to fly into, and the King Air. So the jet and the King Air are able to fly into. So that was pretty interesting. I think that's a very good use of their business jet. It probably saves them a significant amount of time and money. You can see it, maintenance. We're talking about maintenance of their equipment, not the aircraft, but the maintenance of the Purdue Farms manufacturing equipment. When issues arise, their operations department is able to use the aircraft to haul personnel, like maintainers, people to keep their equipment up and running. The equipment that they need to work on these machines in these factories, and spare parts from their storage facilities to the location where they're needed. These parts are sometimes large, and it'd be costly to ship them from Salisbury, Maryland, across the United States. So they're able to load up their jet with the equipment and the personnel that they need and get them there quickly. And machine downtime, of course, due to maintenance, costs that company significantly. Purdue Farms is one of the major agricultural suppliers for grocery stores and food markets across the United States, and a major shutdown in one of their machines or something like that would not only cost them a significant amount of money, but also cost the consumer and regular families across the United States the ability to have their food at a moment's notice and be able to go to the grocery store and pick up Purdue Farms poultry, and they're even in the grain industry and other things like that. So it's a very significant asset for them. These are the references that I used in creating this presentation. It was just the Business Aviation Insider from the MBA website. Thank you very much.